What I would like to do now is basically go through the project, which is the first one that you learn from that, really the basic element, how to create the frame, how to create this, prepare the wire for the filigree element, and how we create, and we'll do two types of filigree element. There are many types of filigree element that we cannot go through all of them, but I'll teach for this project two types of filigree element. The project that I'd like to show, we will do crescent earring. As you see, it consists of two. The frame is made of two circular wire, and inside the space between the two circles is the filigree wire. In this particular case, it's gold-plated, but most of filigree work, Yemenite filigree work, is done with sterling silver. So we will do it in this with sterling silver, and I created some, crystal dangling on each, but it's not. It's up to the designer what he wants to do. So and that simple hook that we create, normally every typical Yemenite that they create everything from scratch. So we will try to do as much as not to depend on any other manufacturer. So to start that, let's go with the design of the frame. And I'll use gauge 20 round wire sterling silver. And why I chose the gauge 20 is depend on the shape and the structure, the size of the structure. If it is small, then really I don't need to, gauge 20 will be enough. But if the structure is large, like a big pendant, then I go down to gauge 18 or gauge even 16 to make it, more sturdy. So we will take a round wire and we'll gauge 20, and we'll flatten it to a certain width that we can create the frame, and inside we will embed the filigree wire. Now, important to remember that the width of that, after I flatten, of the frame should be larger than the width of the filigree wire, because you don't want, when you file the complete shape after it's soldered, you don't want to file the filigree itself. So that's why we need a little bit larger. So the thickness that I'll go with should be about 0.40 to 0.45. And I use usually the metric system, and either you use the micrometer, or you can use a caliper. This is a caliper that is a digital one. It's very easy to use. And if I look at, for instance, what is the width of the round wire, I will take that between the tongue of that. It is 0.81 millimeter. And we have to reduce that to about 0.4 to 4.45. So it's almost half of the diameter of that round wire. So let's go to now to create the frame. I need two pieces. One will be 5 centimeter, which will be the smaller of the two circles, and the other one 7 centimeter. And I have to make 2 of each because we need 2 earrings. Okay? So the way to do it is not measure all the 4 by the measurement. I only measure 2. and the other two I just cut equally because I want the two earrings to be the same. Okay, so let's take a ruler. As you see, I work with centimeter, so that's about 5, and I cut it. And then the second one, I just match it with this one. And I use my finger that way and look exactly and try to do precise, because if really you're making major differences, then the two circles will not be the same. The other one, the bigger circle will be 7 centimeter length. And I already did the calculation for you, so you will have a very good spacing between the two circles, so we can put those filigree elements very nicely. Okay, so the other second one, I'll cut it as it is, and we're done with the pieces. So in order to solder it, I have to solder the two circles. So we have to file the tip to create a good surface. When you hold the file, you hold it like that with the forefinger really supporting your motion. Because if you just hold that way, it will be very floppy and you cannot really have a very good motion. That way, when I have the forefinger, I can really control the motion. And the file is only in one direction, not backward. And after you did that, you just very light touch to get off all the burrs around. And then I do the other side. 1 or 2 motion, that's all you need. And I do for all the 4 of them, and then we can solder all the 4 and have the frame. As I said before, since all this is very small, then gauge 20 probably sufficient. But we have still to work very delicately when we insert those elements. We will not distort the shape of the circle. The best ways to do it is there are 2 techniques to do here. Either you heat in the front of that, which the reflected heat will melt the soldering, or you do it from inside, okay, because I put the soldering outside. If I heat from inside, usually the soldering will flow where the heat is there. So if I that, I'll force the soldering to flow inside. Once you see the shining of that melting, stop it. So as you see here, we have 2 elements. One is really just rolling around the circle one. And then the other, I have 2 kind of banana type filigree wire that wrapped up in a certain way that have to really to be close to identical as much as you can. But the wire is twisted and very fine. How we create the wire? Okay, let's there are 2 ways to do it. The wire, since it has to be twisted, it has to be soft. I use fine silver, not sterling. The frame is sterling, but the twisted wire I use fine silver, gauge 26 or gauge 28.
בערב השבת נשב אזכרה נעימות שנוגעות לי ללב, שולחן ונרות ערוכים באורה, ואבא מברך בכל ערב, ואמא האם מטפחת אל השולחן מגישה מטעמים ומבט אוהב. אחיי ואחיותיי פוצחים בשירה, ואבא בפסוקים דובר.